Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to our channel and thanks for logging on. Today we're discussing the Patek Philippe reference 5159R-001. You can see and you can purchase this Perpetual calendar retrograde automatic officer style timepiece on our website. Subscribe to our YouTube channel if you enjoy these videos, and please click on the card in the upper right hand corner of the screen at any time during this video to see our full sales listing for this watch with additional accessories included in the sale, high resolution images for your desktop, and naturally complete pricing details for this Patek Philippe 5159R. Now, the 5159 debuted in 2007, a larger and more robust successor to the previous officer-style retrograde Perpetual 5059. The watch has a more contemporary wrist presence, starting with a case diameter of 38 millimeters, not inclusive of the crown or the crown plinth. More on that in a moment. The watch isn't particularly thick in spite of its bulbous profile, 11.9 millimeters with a generously sloped case flank. It will fit underneath tight sleeves and dress cuffs. From lug to lug, the watch is a compact 46.5 millimeters. Again, it looks imposing on the wrist, but it isn't overwhelming in its outright dimensions. It's an exercise in deftly executed proportions. That's how it achieves its wrist presence. But it does have a little bit more heft than you may expect. Picking it up, it feels more like a platinum watch than a gold watch, and that's down to the hunter-style hinged caseback, which allows you all of the pleasures of a conventional display caseback, and I'll demonstrate what I mean, while at the same time granting you the integrity, that is the precious metal content, as well as a discrete surface for personalization that you get with a solid caseback. Now the watch has a black matte finish alligator leather strap with monotone stitch and folded edges, and a matching filigree style Calatrava cross capped full deploying clasp in matching 18 karat rose gold. The watch is all of high polish, as you can see, and the timepiece features traditional soldered lugs, so straight lugs in the officer's style. This aesthetic is derived from the early 20th century practice of creating officers' trench watches during the First World War by soldering lugs onto pocket watch cases, hence the hunter-style hinged caseback, hence the straight lugs soldered on. You'll also note the use of screws rather than spring bars to fix the strap to the case. Again, this is derived from officers' practice to keep the straps firmly anchored to the lugs. No spring bars were welcome in the trenches, and likewise you can see the bulbous style crown, characteristic of pocket watches, carried over into the modern era on these officer style Patek Philippe references. The watch does feature definition in its case line. You can see that Patek Philippe designers have flared the junction of dome style bezel and case flank to create a strong and masculine horizontal character line to unify the lugs on each side with the central case. The dial, again, vintage inspired, it has a little bit of pocket watch flair to it. Outboard, you can see blue-printed Arabic numerals for seconds and minutes. You'll also note the aperture display for the day, the month, and the leap year phase with a retrograde-style date, and assegai minute hand with a spade-style hour hand, and a bosom-style moon phase at 6 o'clock. You can see that there is a matte grain to the stylized Roman numerals of the hour track as well as the base of the retrograde scale, but there's a sort of soleil or radially arrayed guilloche cut to the center dial underneath the Patek Philippe marquee. You'll also note the contrast between the red tip of the retrograde hand, the blackened hour and minute hand, and the golden polished lancet style constant seconds. Now, I mentioned that the crown has a plinth, not a crown guard, but you can see it's on a raised pedestal that gives the case flank additional definition and also hides the hinge mechanism for the hunter style caseback. My nails aren't what they were, but on my second pass, I managed to get the case back open. You can see inside the Patek Philippe marquee, notation of 18 karat gold, serial number, and the reference for the watch, 5159. The movement is based on Patek Philippe's center rotor automatic, the 324. It is a Quantième Perpetual, it is a retrograde, and it is a center seconds. You can see linear Côte de Genève across the bridges, circular Côte de Genève on the winding mass with engraved Calatrava cross, Gyromax style balance beating away at 4 Hz, a little bit quicker than the 240 micro rotor, which is 3 Hz. You'll also note that free-sprung in Patek's tradition with Gyromax style architecture, better takes and holds a precise regulation. What you can't quite see is the Spiromax silicon hairspring, amagnetic. It reduces the watch's vulnerability to magnetism and magnet-induced timing deviation to virtually nil. You can also see the Patek Philippe seal, the ultimate imprimatur of quality, tight and even perlage across the base plate, all the screw heads polished with chamfered slots, every jewel countersink as well as the edge of every bridge mirror polished. You can see the glint off that gorgeous rounded anglage laid by hand. The watch has a 35 to 45 hour power reserve when fully energized. You can see and you can purchase this Patek Philippe 5159R Perpetual Calendar Retrograde Officer's Watch on our website.